Engineered for maximum control, take command of your game with the Atari Jaguar Advanced Controller Pad. Designed for the gamer who has the desire to be ahead of the game, with 17 buttons, custom overlays, and a strong connector to ensure that each press of every button is delivered lightning fast into the Jaguar's main processing arena. But seriously man, what game in the Jaguar library could actually put such an advanced controller to good use? Well, let's find out. So if the title wasn't already a dead giveaway, I've been super keen to check out Iron Soldier for the Atari Jaguar, for the Atari Jaguar, for the Atari Jaguar, for the Atari Jaguar. As far as Atari Jaguar games go, there's a lot of things going for it already. It's full 3D, with giant robots, explosions, and heaps of different destructible environments. There's not many games out there that actually give an impression of what the Atari Jaguar is capable of doing. But then, even less games that can take the Atari Jaguar pad with 17 buttons and say, yeah, sure man, we can actually work with that. I've come out before and defended the Atari Jaguar's controller, and I don't mind losing some street cred over it. For me, one of the coolest things about the Jaguar is its strong suite of PC ports. Syndicate, Theme Park, Wolfenstein 3D, Doom, Cannon Fodder. Suddenly, an integrated keypad doesn't seem so stupid. In most games for the system, the only buttons you need to use quickly are the big red ones at the top. Iron Soldier actually manages to strike a pretty good balance between PC and console style gameplay, action and strategy. On the controller, the big red buttons control firing, speed and turning quickly. The keypad will switch your active weapon depending where you've mounted them, shoulders, arms or hips. Below that is the reset button, just in case it all gets a little bit too intense for you. And that is something that actually took me by surprise. I didn't really think the Atari Jaguar could deliver a game where so many things are happening at once and things actually felt a little bit intense. And sure, it's got a much slower pace compared to some of its rivals, but there's plenty of missions and variety. And you'll find yourself fighting off tanks, helicopters and even other Iron Soldiers. And if you take too long, enemy reinforcements start arriving and you can quickly find yourself actually being overwhelmed. In an Atari Jaguar game. It's quite a spectacle, and you know, you are not dealing with Cybermorph anymore. So the 3D in this game is probably not enough to make your jaw drop, but the variety in the game was actually pretty refreshing, and I was super stoked to get into the fray and start testing out some of that heavy firepower. Though, in all honesty, I cheated. I'm going to come clean here, and for me, I find games like these so much more fun when you can pick which scenario you want to hit first, and what weapons you're going into battle with. I am not going to endorse cheating, but I am saying I enjoyed cheating with this game a lot more than starting at the bottom. In my opinion, if the choice is between getting frustrated with your game and just switching it off, or actually playing it, learning the buttons, testing out the weapons and trying out all the different stages, then cheat. Have some fun with your games. I really loved how Iron Soldier broke each stage into a separate mission. Whether you're intercepting something, staging an assault, or just trying to stay alive, you get to experience the different locations and try out different tactics in the field. It's been really easy to talk up a game like this, but this is the Atari Jaguar, so what's the catch? Compared to Cybermorph, the graphics here are freaking impressive. To anyone who's used to texture map polygons, probably won't be quite as impressed. The controls also take a bit of getting used to, and I am not blaming the Jaguar's controller, it's fine, but you need to accelerate and de-accelerate your Iron Soldier. And thinking about it, you are a giant robot. The idea that you'll be a bit slow and clunky actually works well on the Jaguar hardware. I know personally, I love having a few games that show off what the system is really capable of doing. But it's not at the top of the pile compared to games with actual texture map 3D polygons. And companies like Rebellion were doing some great things with the Jaguar hardware. But the truth is, the system just wasn't around long enough to allow developers to really push it. Iron Soldier certainly feels like a step in the right direction for the system, and it's a pretty refreshing addition to the library, just because it's not a port. It's a brand spanking new Atari IP. It's in 3D. It tried some interesting things, and believe it or not, the IP itself actually managed to survive the Jaguar's reign and make it to acclaimed systems like the new on DVD players and the Sony PlayStation by the time Iron Soldier 3 rolled in. One thing that I am a little bit bummed about is not getting the chance to check out Iron Soldier 2 for the Atari Jaguar. The truth is, it's expensive, and when I did have the spare cash, I opted for a copy of Skyhammer instead. And seriously, I don't regret that at all. I don't feel like Iron Soldier 2 improved enough over the original, so I'm gonna say that one is going to be for collectors only. The CD version did have an awesome intro though. So how can I recommend Iron Soldier? It's a good to okay game, on a system that is notorious for its less than stellar titles, so it stands out a bit for that reason. Though, do you know what else the Atari Jaguar does really terribly? Emulation. And these games aren't exactly in demand for the Virtual Console or the PlayStation Network. It's a bit of a downer that Atari's Swansong console is probably most desirable because no one's nailed that emulation part of it yet. Though on my channel, I've done a few Jaguar reviews on games that I think are totally worth picking up. And this is one of those games, if you can find it cheap or maybe in a lot. If for some strange reason you don't have an Atari Jaguar in your collection already, just remember you can pick up Iron Soldier 3 for the PlayStation pretty cheaply online. Anyway, thanks for tuning in.